FA Cup final. And Hatchet! What a magnificent goal!
Good evening and welcome to All Things Sky Blue match preview against Blackburn Rovers on Tuesday night. Now, obviously, before I bring my guests on, just remember where you can find us. We are on X, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. If you watch us on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe. It is much appreciated by all the team. And if you listen to us on podcasts on Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, wherever else that you get your podcasts from, please go and rate us 5 stars on there. This season, we are partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena and also the Sky Blue Tavern, where I am live tonight. And we're also partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar at the CBS Arena. I think I just said that, sorry. And we're also sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications, and he can do your steel fabrication work up and down the country, but mainly in the Coventry and Warwickshire area. So this is a Blackburn preview, but we have got Coventry have got Bristol City on Saturday, and Blackburn have got Oxford as their next game, I believe, on Saturday as well. So before I bring my Blackburn guest in, normally my co-host is Mark Smith. He's unavailable tonight, but back for a long, long time, it feels like that he's done a preview. You normally listen to him on the X Space that we do at 9 o'clock on a Sunday, and that's Mr. Josh Shale. Good evening, Josh. Hello, Josh. Are you there? I can see you. Can you hear me? It looks like he's moved location as well, so I don't know whether that's an issue. Okay, while we...
It's not working.
I can hear you, Josh. Okay, while we're waiting for Josh to come back, I'll bring my Blackburn guest in, which is Katie Talks Rovers. Good evening, Katie. How are you? Oh. Sorry, go on. Sorry, Katie. That's all right. You're on mute then. How are you, Katie?
I'm really good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Hopefully, Josh will be back shortly once he's sorted his connection out. Obviously, you had a game last night at home where you beat Portsmouth 3-0, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How was that game? Did you come out of it injury-free?
We did. It was a really, really good game. I think one thing that I've noticed really from Blackburn at the moment is sometimes the first half, they can come out a little bit slow and then they kind of started trying to heat up. We get to half time and then they come out like all kind of like cylinders going off from all things. Obviously, 3 different goal scorers. It was a really exciting game.
Okay. Did you go, by the way?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are the crowds getting good now that you're up there in the dizzy heights of 7th?
Do you know, I wish I could say yeah, but obviously midweeks are always a little bit thing anyway. I mean,
okay,
they seem to get a little better at the weekends. I just think, to be honest, the biggest thing that we have at Rovers at the moment is just really the ownership. Obviously, and it's really a sad time in a way because like this year's 150th since obviously we were founded 100 years, and it's also 30 years since we won the Premier League. So it's a big year for the club to celebrate. So hopefully more fans come and support the club.
That's good. That's good. I hope they do. Let's see if we can get Josh back in. Hiya, Josh. Are you with us?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can, yes. Can you hear us?
I can. In shock, horror, technology has failed me.
I know, yeah. How So I gave you such a big intro as well.
Well, I was in the middle of saying I was trying to remember when I last did one of these, and I feel like it might have been when it was the highest rated video on our YouTube.
Wow,
Maybe.
I can't believe you got that in. No, I think you've done another one since then.
However, fair enough.
Good evening, Josh. How are you? And thank you very much for joining me. Obviously, it is normally Mark. So how have you been?
Yeah, not bad, thanks, mate. Really enjoyed the penalty shootout win last Saturday against Sheffield Wednesday. Not too keen on the fourth round draw, Ipswich at home, but it's the fourth round, isn't it? So all good, all good.
It is. We're through. We're through. Let's go back. I will start with Josh, to be fair, Katie, if you don't mind. Josh, Blackburn are up to 7th. They're playing some decent football. But if there's ever a bogey side for Blackburn, it's us, isn't it?
It absolutely is. And the first memory that comes to mind almost instantly when you bring up Blackburn and Ewood Park is that Ben Wilson goal in the last minute. Was it to equalise? I think it was.
It was, yeah.
2 seasons ago. I mean, I wish I could have been there because it was just, the scenes were extraordinary. And hopefully we'll have something similar on Tuesday, is it? We play them? Yeah, Tuesday.
It is Tuesday, yeah.
But yeah, they're kind of like, to us, well, they're kind of like what Swansea are to us, aren't they? One of those teams
or
that they
Preston.
don't always... And Preston, yeah. So fingers crossed it'll be good news come Tuesday.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, Katie, we feel like, we are your bogey side when you come to us. Because the first game, going back to that one where we won 3-0, I think it was, you were 6 unbeaten at that stage of the season as well. And if there was ever a team that was going to take that winning streak away, it was going to be Coventry, weren't it?
100%. I agree. I think Coventry probably is 100% a bogey team for Blackburn. 100%. And just the thing, we've gone up to 5th now.
Oh, have you got... Sorry, yes, you've gone to 5th, haven't you, after last night's win? Sorry, I said 7th, didn't I?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I just thought I'd mention it. But yeah,
no, that's fine.
Still could be 7th by Saturday, maybe, depending on how the results go. But so far, we're doing all right.
Yeah, not too bad. So, how was, from the first game that we played then, Katie, has Eustace changed much? Has he changed formation? Has he tweaked anything? Has he brought anybody sort of in that wasn't necessarily playing that's starting to have an impact on the side now?
So since we last spoke, we've obviously had injuries to Carter, Travis, obviously Pickering also. So he's really had to kind of like bring experience in. And I'll tell you something, Danny Bath, obviously he's one of more experienced players in the Championship, kind of on the older side, but he's come on in there and he's doing really, really well. And do you know one thing I think from last season, looking at how we did, and especially this season, it's just that togetherness. Like, if you think of how we were doing like this time last year, we were falling apart. This year, I don't know, I just think he's just something different and we needed it. And obviously there's still such a long time to go in the league. But as a Blackburn fan, I can't complain with where we are.
Yeah, obviously we're playing this, we're playing on Tuesday. We've both got games. So obviously we are talking as though there's no injuries and no suspensions and things like that as well, Katie, that's going to happen on our games at the weekend. But you mentioned there, obviously, a few injuries that you had. Hayashi, I believe, might be injured as well. You've got Lewis Travers, Harry Pickering, Sigerson, Hayden Carter and Scott Wharton. You've got quite a lot of injuries and you're still up there doing the business. So you've got to be optimistic about going into Saturday's game, haven't you? Tuesday's game. Sorry.
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, with Hayden and Scott. Scott was long term, really, from even last season. He's really, really struggling, unfortunately, injuries-wise. Same with Sigerson. I just think what's going to make the final thing and for any team coming into now to the final bit is who you bring in, isn't it? You know what I mean? And just keeping that momentum going.
Yeah, definitely. Back to you, Josh. How are you feeling going into Tuesday's game? Obviously, it depends on what happens against Bristol City, I suppose, a little bit. But we are at the CBS against Bristol City on Saturday. Our home form is looking okay. You know, if we beat Bristol City on the Saturday, that's 7 unbeaten at home. Our away form, we kind of struggling a little bit. We seem to have, you know, a really good half, whether it be first or second. We just need to find that consistency a little bit, don't we?
Yeah, that's the key word, Stuart. Consistency. I think Frank Lampard, since he's come in, has changed a lot that I like. I like now how we're keeping more clean sheets. I do like how we seem to be starting to settle down with our back line. You know, the likes of Liam Kitchen coming in and doing a pretty good job so far, I think. So we're making good progress, I think. You still don't quite know which club are going to turn up, although I think performances have been better. But for every good performance we do seem to put in, there's a Norwich, not a Norwich away, there's a Portsmouth away where we just don't turn up. So it's going to be an interesting game. My question would be, do we go into that as firm underdogs with all the pressure on Blackburn? And I think we do. And I think that's when, in the past couple of years, we've been at our best.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, we always like taking, you know, points off the higher place play teams as well, don't we? But one of the shining lights for me out of the past sort of 2-3 games, especially the past 2, has been the form of Dovin in goal. You know, he's been absolutely brilliant for us, especially the last game. He kept us in it massively against Sheffield Wednesday in the cup, you know, and against Norwich in the league as well. I know I know we lost and he conceded 2 goals, but one was a wonder goal and the other one was a horrid deflection off Bidwell, wasn't it?
Yeah, they're the sort of goals that you can't do anything about. But as you say, Stuart, just to back up what you say, he does seem to have put a real marker down to say that this is my position now. And it would make no sense to make any changes in the goalkeeping department now. Collins, as well documented, Collins has had a couple of stinkers. I don't think he should be anywhere near starting for us. And I think that the fact that Dovin has started in both the league and the cup, when you would naturally probably change goalkeepers, does speak volumes.
Yeah, totally right, to be fair. Obviously, back to you, Katie. Obviously, it's still very difficult to say that what's going to happen on a Saturday. Like I said, injuries and suspensions and things like that. But where do you see this game being won? Where's your strength and where's your weaknesses going into Tuesday's game?
I think we've really, really improved in terms of being really defensive. And I was looking at the record that we have with you at our ground. So I mean, you're probably better, but when looking at it now, I think the last time that you actually won at our ground a fair few years ago, we're thinking. Yeah. It's a lot of it we have recently with you at our ground is draws and draws. So it's just getting that team having, I think sometimes we're good at defensive but attacking. Like the second goal yesterday, we were literally down their end and it took, I think they said, about 21 seconds for us to then go back and score. So it really, really, especially at home now, hitting people on the attack. So Coventry City better ready.
Wow.
But we've really improved, you know what I mean? And like I said to you on the last time we spoke, I'm confident we'll get the win. I think I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be easy because it isn't. No game's easy at the Championship, let's be totally honest here. But I think we might finally break that deadlock and get a win.
Wow. Well, I hope you don't. Obviously, we have been linked as well. Well, I should say you've been linked as well with Thomas Asante. How do you feel about Thomas Asante coming if that was to happen? Because obviously Stoke have come into the frame now as well. Would you be happy? Do you want anything else to be done in the window? Has Eustace come out and said that things are going to be done in the window in terms of transfers?
So, in terms of transfers, I know he's already spoken to the board and the owners and kind of clarified what he wants. And they're kind of trying to keep tight with that. I think obviously we definitely need someone on the right. Maybe a couple of more just a bit fleet strikers. We are scoring. We just need. I think what we sometimes we're missing in games is that final third. Just to get it in the back of the net. Like there's been games this season where, for example, like the one we had at Stoke at home, we had over 20 shots and they won 2-0. And I was like, it's like one of the most frustrating games I've probably ever been to, because I'm thinking like, when you look at how your team's performed and you can look back and you think, how have we lost that?
Yeah.
But yeah, and going back to the Thomas Asante comment, I don't know how I feel, because I feel like you have to give players the benefit of the doubt, hasn't it? But I mean, for him, if you look at his stats, I'm told very mixed signals. So I'm told that he's very good on the right, but then in terms of goal scoring, if I'm correct, it's the only goal he's actually scored this season is against us. So I don't know. I'm not entirely sure on him, if I'm being honest.
Okay. Do you see him playing on that right-hand side if you were to bring him in?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. Josh, obviously, Thomas Asante has been linked. And how do you feel about it? How do you feel about our transfer window at the moment, since there's been a lot of talk about players, but nobody's actually crossed that line yet?
Well, I think to start with Thomas Asante, I think I would, and I am quite disappointed, because I was so excited when he first signed. I said this on Sunday, he was West Brom's top goal scorer last season. The argument their fans will make is that it was 12, but it should have been 30. He missed probably more than he should have. So that's disappointing. He's not done anything for me to give Frank Lampard anything to think about. He's not impressed me, really. His work rate's outstanding. That's one thing you can guarantee, but you sometimes need a bit more than that. And in terms of our transfer window overall, I would just hate, and this isn't me going on a rant, but I just hate to be watching a movie with some of our fans. Could you imagine watching a movie and halfway through the movie you say, "Nah, this is rubbish. What happens in the end? Where's the ending?" we've still got, I think, 2.5 weeks to go of the transfer window. Just because we're not signed anyone yet, and as Stuart, you always say, until you see the photo with it be now Frank Lampard with the player, don't believe anything. But we've still got such a long time to go. Such a long time to go. I think fans just need to be patient, and just see how it goes. Just because there's not any news coming out the club doesn't mean we're not doing business. Let's just be patient.
Fans aren't patient, though, are we?
No,
we want everything straight away, don't we?
I'm normally very, very guilty. Probably having been brought up with social media, I want things instantly, but just need to calm down a bit. That's all I'll say.
Good. I hope you listen. Josh has said, and I'm sure he'll say on the X Space as well on Sunday.
Yeah, I might clip that for socials. I quite enjoyed that. I feel like a massive weight's been lifted off my shoulder.
Good. I'm not sure whether I've asked you this already, Katie, but where do you see the game winning? Do you think you'll be on the counter-attack? Do you think the midfield's the key area?
I would say counter-attack and a substitute. I don't know what it is this season. So we have amazing players when we start in, but them substitutes are counting. Like John Hughes was saying last night in an interview after the match that Matt Targay was absolutely fuming that he wasn't picked to start, and he's obviously got put on the pitch and 10 minutes he scored. So yeah, the counter, I would say that's what we're good at the moment, defending really well and countering teams.
Do you think that's what the home fans want to see, though, a counter-attacking team, or do you think you'll be more on the front foot at home?
I think a mixture. I think we just want to see exciting football from both opponents.
Yeah.
Because that's what football's about, isn't it? Like having that passion and as screaming at your players, saying like get into them and like shoot, and yeah, I think people are enjoying football for once at Ewood Park, which is quite surprising compared to last season.
Yeah, definitely. Josh, any questions for Katie at the minute?
Well, the one thing, I think we've spoken to Katie on other shows about this. I just wanted to see, Katie, your similarities you see between Coventry and Blackburn in terms of ownership, because in recent years we've both been through our difficulties with owners. What main similarities do you see between the two clubs in that regard?
We've definitely been through owners. I mean, obviously Steve Waggett, who the CEO is obviously he's our CEO at the moment. I think but really good teams, and I think we want not the best, but I feel like one thing that I've noticed in football teams at the moment, I think this has come from something like more wide view. There needs to be more reviews into who owns football teams and the best one. If you look at different other teams like the Sheffield Wednesday, what came out yesterday, Josh on X with all that coming out the fans forum, want the best, but we just sometimes don't know how to do it. You know what I mean? What things to put in place. Like if you look at your guys, for example, I mean, I've got to be quite surprised. I'm quite obviously. I mean, you're not doing the worst, but I'm quite surprised to see where you are because normally you're all high up there. You know what I mean? And been a bit of a slow start, hasn't it, for you, Stuart and Josh Howard? Don't you think that's just my opinion?
No, I think you bang on, Katie. And again, you hear all kinds of conspiracies with our owner, Doug King. I think from my view, he's done a really good job. But even just saying that, most people won't agree. But hey, that's football, I suppose.
It is indeed. It is. So, any questions for us, Katie, that you've got?
So, obviously, I will put this around to Rovers fans, but if there was a Rovers fan asking out, what player do we need to watch out for on that pitch that's going to score that goal?
Do you want to take that one, Josh?
Well, fortunately for you, Katie, we're probably missing our two best players in Haji Wright and Ephraim Mason-Clark. Stuart's a massive fan of our striker, Norman Bissett. If he starts, he's one that could ruffle a few feathers in the final third. But I think deeper, we've got Jack Rudoni, who's a player I really like. I think he's been one of our best players this season. Gets the ball moving. He's got a bit of flair about him, and he could make things happen. So I think maybe Jack Rudoni and Norman Bissett for me.
Yeah, I think I think Rudoni, especially with his set pieces, his corners, he always puts over a really good delivery. And we have kind of been a threat on corners, not all the time, but we have scored the odd corner this season from a set piece, from a corner, and even from free kicks. He can whip a ball over. So I would say Jack Rudoni because, as Josh said, Haji Wright and Mason Clark have both been out injured, and they probably won't be back for Tuesday's game either. But yeah, I do like Bissett. He is still very raw. He's only 19, 20. So I don't want to pin too much on him because it shouldn't be pinned too much on him. But yeah, I would say Jack Rudoni is probably the main threat for me. Set pieces and deliveries will provide us hopefully with good chances. So predictions then going into Tuesday's game. What do you think, Katie? How are you feeling? You said that you're very optimistic and you think you're going to win. Give us a score.
Very optimistic. I mean, I've got to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a draw because that just seems to happen with us against you at home. I'm going to say a comfortable 2-1.
Comfortable 2-1. Okay.
2-1.
Interesting. All right, Josh?
Well, to pay tribute to Mark, the fence sitter, I am going to go for a 1-1. I don't see us winning the game, and I think a point would be a good away point. So I'm going to go 1-1, and I fancy Ellis Sims to get a goal, actually. I think he'll.
Okay.
I'd like to think he'll start after Saturday. Sorry, last Saturday, just gone against Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup. I thought he was much better. So yeah, 1-1.
Okay, interesting. I think Sims work better in the two. So I think if Bissett and Sims starts, but if you play both, then you haven't got much coming off the bench. So I don't think that he'll start both. I think he'll start probably Sims and Asante if Asante hasn't gone somewhere by then anyway. I would take a point now, but I'm always the optimist, and I am going to go for a 2. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. Might even go for a 2-0 on the X space, but at the moment I'm going to go for a 2-1. So we will see. So obviously, last time we had you on, Katie, we did a quick fire question. So I have got your answers from the previous one. So all I want is we'll review it, and I just want your take to see if anything's changed, and if you're happy with your answers now. So the first question I asked you was a player to look out for. Can you remember who you said?
I'd probably say, if I'm thinking back, probably Ohashi maybe. Something
You
like
didn't say Ohashi. You did say Ohashi. How has Ohashi fared? Are you happy with that? Or has anything changed? I know he's injured at the moment, isn't he, I think?
Yeah. Do you know, he's been a really, really good player. He really gets into it and he's enjoying it. And I think, obviously, he's not struggling with his injury, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, it happens in football. But I wouldn't say change a player, but one to look out for, because again, obviously he's now injured for a few weeks. He's probably Owen Beck from Liverpool. He gets into people. So I'm wondering who he's got in his back pocket.
He wasn't available in your game when you came to our place, but he is somebody to look out for. Definitely, I do like Beck. He is a good player. So the second question I asked you was, where would Cov finish? Can you remember what you said?
I'd probably say top 6.
You did. You said 6. You said 6th. Where do you think Cov will finish now?
Right, I'm going to take you out of the top 6. Okay. I'm probably going to say 7 or 8. Just because I think, just being honest, obviously there's still that chance for you to hit it, 100%. But I think, well, we're looking at middle of January. Like, you got to try and hit it fast, because you can see, can't you, now between the top 4 and the others in the playoffs, that gap is increasing game by game.
Yeah, it is. But just to make a point, in our playoff season, we are from the start of February, we went 16 games and we only lost 1. And that was against Burnley, and that was 1-0 at their place. So we can do it. We've got the team to do it. I don't think we will. We won't go on that run again. But that's just saying from February onwards is very critical. And if you can go on a good run, you can move up the table quite quickly. So I also asked you where you would finish. Can you remember what you said on that?
I definitely wouldn't have said playoffs. Probably like mid-table, maybe. I don't know.
No, you said 5th.
Did I? Wow.
Yeah. Has that changed, or are you sticking with 5th?
I'll stick with it, to be honest, where we are now. I mean, Let's be honest, I probably was being a little bit like overthink, but I mean, any fan, if any fan could complain where we are now, I'd be like, what are you complaining at? Like, especially like, compared to like last season, you know what I mean? Where obviously we were literally down relegation for most of the season.
Yeah. Right. So the next question I asked was, one player you'd take from Coventry. Can you remember who you said?
I'm not going to clue, but if I was going to say, I'd probably say maybe Wright or Sims, maybe.
Yeah. No, you said Hadji Wright. So obviously he's out injured. Would you take anybody else from Coventry?
To be honest, I've not watched many of your games. Do you know
how charming?
I know it sounds really bad. That I remember one game I watched when you made the comeback against was it Luton?
Luton.
Yeah, because I was away in Sheffield that weekend, and I was trying to find where our match was playing. So I was obviously away, and I was in a I was in a pub or something with some Stoke fans who were playing Sheffield. That was really, really good. Like, I think during this thing with Coventry as well, like I think you can make a comeback. You just need the players to just connect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just that consistency that's been the issue the whole season, really, on and off the pitch. You know, we've changed managers this year. It has been quite difficult, really, to stay happy, to stay focused. You know, as fans, as much as the players and the staff. You know, it's we've just got to start coming together again. Exactly what you said, really. The last question that I asked you was, what did you think about John Eustace? You said steady. Has that changed? Is he elevated himself to a higher stance?
Oh, 100%. Especially so when we won the match of the week. So basically, even on the points tally now, we are on more points now than we were when he took over in March. He's a good manager, he really is, and he's really about this togetherness. I know we've had a few bumps in the road where fans have gone into complete meltdown on X, panicking, thinking that he's going to get taken away by West Brom, but probably more so because that's where he's from, that's where his family lives, and he's nearby. But he really does love this club. You know what I mean? When he took over, I'm saying to you, people didn't know what to expect because obviously, we knew he'd done this thing at Birmingham. Obviously, he got let go from there. And obviously, at this point, we were at our lowest. But he saved us from relegation, dumped Birmingham at the same day, sent them down. And you can't complain where we are. 5th with 42 points. I think, let's be honest, a few more wins. And I can't see us getting relegated. I don't think there's any chance that's actually going to happen. But a few more wins and it guarantees it, doesn't it, really?
Yeah, it does. You want to get to that magic 50, don't you? That's what everybody wants to get to. So I'm sure you will. We know how good Eustace is, was as a player. I certainly do anyway. I remember watching him play growing up. He shouldn't have been let go at Birmingham, and I think he is doing a great job at Blackburn, really. Good luck to you for the rest of the season, apart from on Tuesday, obviously. Just before I do let you go, though, Katie, and before we close this down, can you just remind us where we can find you and what you do?
So you can find me on X at Katie Talks Rovers and TikTok. Love doing funny little lives, and I also do now as well social media for We Are the Rovers, who are the Blackburn Rovers Supporters Trust. We have meetings with the big wigs, as I like to call them. Yeah,
fantastic, brilliant. Oh, well done on that one, by the way. You're welcome. So that's it. So you know where you can find Katie. This will be going out Sunday morning. So if you watch us on YouTube, please go and like and subscribe. And if you listen to us on podcast, please go and rate us 5 stars. We do a Twitter space on a Sunday night hosted by Josh, who's with us now. There's other things coming up as well. We've got ex-players. There's ex-player videos on there already. So please go and like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Remember where else you can find us. We are on X or Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. It has been scrolling down the bottom. We're partnered with the Anecdote Sports Bar and the Sky Blue Tavern. And we're sponsored by Right Steel Fabrications, who can do your steel fabrication work up and down the country, but mainly in the Coventry and Warwickshire area. Once again, thank you very much, Katie, for joining us. Obviously, you're more than welcome to join us on our X Space on Sunday night, where we will be talking about the Blackburn game as well as reviewing the Bristol City game, hopefully with a win. Josh, anything you want to add on the X Space or about the X Space?
No, not really. Just a quick one. Thank you to some of our followers on Facebook that have left us some recommendations on our page. It really does mean a lot. And Katie, great talking to you as always. As Stuart said, best of luck for the season, excluding Tuesday.
And thank you very much, Josh, for that. So once again, guys, go and like and subscribe and go and rate us 5 stars. Good luck, Katie. Thank you very much to both of you. Play up Sky Blues.